Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Muhammad and I'll be teaching you how to make a responsive full website using HTML and CSS. And there's going to be a little bit JavaScript. So in the last lecture I told you how to make the part 1, and in this lecture we're going to finish the project. So let me show you what we made in the last lecture. So we added this beautiful logo, and we added some text, and we added a hover icon. So now let me show you the full FFO. We made this, and now we're gonna work on this picture, this thingy. So the background is not it's not an image. This is the image. Well, the pink, it's the content. So even if you resize it, as you can see, it's getting big, small, small, small. Look what happens. It gets pink, and this icon appears. Okay, so now I want to tell you something, and the thing is the editor we're going to be using is PHP Storm, so let's move on. I'm just going to cross all of these so it can be a refresher. Okay, now in the last lecture we made this code. So that was just an extra code, so I erased it. And now after this div, we're going to add a div called row. I'm going to add a class called row. And again in this div, we're going to add a div called column1. So I'm going to div my class, and then it's going to be col1. And inside this div, I'm going to add some text. So first I'm going to write the tags, h2 tag, and then -3. So we're going to have lots of text in it because we want to make it beautiful text. And this one is the last one, I hope so. Yes, h4. Now I have made this notepad, all the text we're going to use in this video. So first we have this, and in the h2 tag we're going to add this text. We're going to copy this text. I'm going to put it here. And after this v2, I'm just going to add a br tag right after this. So I'm going to create br, yes. And I'm just going to erase the space, it looks beautiful. And now in this h3 tag, we're going to go to our notepad and copy this. And we're not going to do any br tag or a space. I'm just going to put the text a bit fast. P tag. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do, and then we're going to go to the style sheet. So I'm just going to add a button here. And I'm going to give a class to this button. So I'm going to write class. And the class I'm going to give it to it is, the class is going to be B. And I'm gonna put the type. The type's gonna be button, and the text I'm gonna put in here is this buy now text. So this button is gonna convert to a beautiful button. So let's go to our style sheet now. Okay, to the last lecture we used nav, UI, and then hover. So we added the hover thingies. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to write .row for the first class that I used in lecture 2. And display, flex, justify content, center, space between. And then because I'm used to center, I use center all the time. And after this, I'm going to add my margin. Okay, the thing I forgot one thing, align item, and that's going to be centered. And after that, I'm going to write margin, 100 pixels and 0. And after this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write dot col 1. And this column 1, I'm going to write flex spaces. And that's going to be 40%. So that. Okay, after this, we're going to add our position. Our position is going to be relative, I guess so. And then margin left. And I'm going to add 50 pixels. Looks great. Okay, now I'm gonna target my H2 and my button and my text. So I'm gonna write dot col 1 because all of the text are in column 1. And I'm gonna add one more thing after this, H2. Okay, now in this I'm gonna write font. I'm gonna just write 1 size because we don't need more size for this font size, and it's gonna be, I guess, 54px. That's good. That looks good. Okay, after our H2, I'm gonna call dot column 1 H3. And I'm gonna write font 5. It's gonna be 30 pixels. Color, I'm gonna add a beautiful color. And it's gonna be hash because I just remembered the hash. Yeah, 0077, yeah. 7. And that's gonna be a kind of purplish thingy. After this color, I'm gonna add my font weight, so I'm gonna give a small weight to it. I'm not gonna give that much weight, so it can't carry the weight. It's gonna be 100, and this I'm gonna write margin. And in the margin, I'm gonna write 20 pixels, and then 0, and then 10 pixels. Okay, now we have only 3 things left. So our P tag, H4, and button. Now I'm gonna write dot column 1, and after this column 1, I'm gonna add P instead of the H3. And in this P, I'm gonna write font size. And in this font size, I can be 16 pixels. And after the 16 pixels, we're gonna add our color. So again, I remember it's gonna be hash. I'm forgetting it. BB7, no. Yeah, 78 BB. No, that's not it. It's not BB77. I think so. Yes, we got it now. A bit lighter, so I knew it's not that color. Now we're gonna give the same weight we gave to column 3. Sorry, column 1 and then H3. Font weight. That's gonna be 100. Okay, after this P tag, I'm just gonna add one more. I'm just gonna copy this so it doesn't be any so we don't have to. And instead of this, I'm just gonna read P and I'm gonna write my H4. I'm gonna write margin. And in this margin, I'm gonna write 30 pixels and then 0. And after that, I'm gonna write font size. Font size is gonna be 20 pixels. Okay, now I'm done all the text and we're gonna move on to our button. So we have given already a class, so we don't have a targeted. .b. B was the class. 140 pixels, and then and inside this one, I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add a border. My border is gonna be 0, so I don't want any border. And then padding, I don't want padding, I'm just gonna do padding. 12 pixels, and then 10 pixels. Outline, none. Color is gonna be hash FF, because I want white. F. That's cool. Okay, that's good. Now after this color, I'm gonna add a background, and it's gonna be linear gradient background. It's gonna triple our background and linear. So we've got linear gradient, and in this, I'm gonna write to right. 1 second. So it's gonna be to right. And after this, I'm just gonna write this slash thingy, this comma, and I'm gonna write my color. So it's gonna be hash FB5, I think so. FB5, and then 2A3 up. Yeah, it's this one. Enter. And I'm gonna write hash FB B. No, I'm not gonna write I'm gonna write hash FF3527. 3527. Okay, now I think it's done. We're just gonna put a comma so we separate this. So that's what's giving underline to us. And I'm gonna write border radius, so it's gonna kind of make it like a circle radius. And border radius is gonna be 6 pixels. And after this, we're gonna write cursor. Okay, I want to click on it. Cursor pointer. And then transition. I'm gonna write width. It's gonna be 0.5 seconds. Okay, now the last thing, we're gonna go to our index.html file, and we're gonna add an image in our button. Okay, now after this, by now, we're not gonna give any space. We're just gonna have an image, and then PlayStation, and then P again. No, I forgot. What was it? I think it's simple PlayStation. Yep. And then we're gonna write arrow.png. I think. Yep, arrow.png. And now we're gonna go to our style sheet and target our image. We haven't given a class. We're just gonna. So I'm gonna write .bim image, and the image I'm gonna write display block. Display block. Sorry. And block. LCK. And after this, I'm gonna write .b this, and then a hover. And after the hover, I'm gonna write image. And in the image, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write. Okay, I mixed something, and I think that's wrong. So I'm gonna do width. And after this, I'm gonna show what we have made till here, 30 pixels. After that, I'm gonna write display, and I'm gonna write none. Okay, now in this hover, we're gonna write display block. I should mix this, and then I forgot that we have to write this here. Okay, now here I'm gonna write .b hover. I'm gonna write display flex, and I'm gonna write width 160 pixels. I'm I'm gonna write align items. So I want everything to go in the center. And justify content. Justify content center. And oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one thing. I have to write space between in the justify content. It's gonna be space between. And I hope so I did not. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna add is this. So we are gonna go to the back of the image. So I'm gonna show the last, and then I'm gonna show you what we made till now, because I think you guys are eagerly waiting to see what we have made. So after, and if you just written the code till here, you can just write it. So colon after, and here I'm gonna add a content. As I told you, we are gonna add a content, and I'm gonna write width 10 pixels, height. My height is gonna be 57%, and after this I'm gonna write background. So I'm just gonna copy the background linear gradient we just wrote here. So I'm not gonna write it again because it's gonna be a little longer. And I think it's the same color. Let me just double check. Okay, now we have some changes. We're gonna erase this to right, and we're also gonna change the colors. It's gonna be a little lighter and thin. So we're gonna write a hash FF. So FF. I'm just gonna erase everything. FF 469 469 469F. Yep. And now here I'm gonna write that it's gonna be FF 6062. Okay. Now as you can see, the color is a bit lighter and it's a bit orange. Now we're gonna write position. We're gonna center, and then we're gonna write left. We're gonna give a little bit left, and we're gonna write minus 40 pixels. Top, and we're gonna write 8 pixels. Now let's check what happened. We're gonna run. Wow, look at this. And now if we hover, it's gonna come here. Okay, everyone, we're gonna have a small break, and then we're gonna continue this video. Thanks for watching. Hello everyone, welcome back. So let's continue. So what we did, let me open the website. So we added this text, and then we added this. Also, we added this button, and we added the content. So now if we take our mouse on the button, it will move a bit forward. So we have some beautiful text, and this is our navbar. Okay, so let's go to our editor and continue. So after this, now that we have added this button, now we're gonna go to our index.html, and we're gonna add one more div after the row div. So after this button, I'm just gonna go one more. I guess we have to go after this div. So I'm gonna add on the div called, I'm gonna give it a class called, one second, class, and it's gonna be column 2. Now I'm gonna enter, and let's see what we'll add here. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna add an image. So we're gonna add that PlayStation image. So I'm gonna give the source src PlayStation, and that's gonna be PlayStation. So we'll just check where is it. So I think it's controller.png. Yes. So I'm gonna and we got here controller.png. Okay, now we're gonna we're gonna give it a alt attribute, and then we're gonna give it a class. So the alt attribute is gonna be hello, for example. It's gonna be controller, and we're gonna give it a class called, and the class is gonna be, I think it's gonna be C, because C for controller. So class and then C. Now after this image, we're gonna add another div called color box. And we're not gonna use this div that much, it's just for the background. Just gonna make it small so we don't see more things. So div, and here I'm gonna add a class called color box. And I'm not gonna give it an enter, it's gonna be here. Okay, now I'm gonna go to my styles, and we're gonna add some styles here. So I'm gonna write column2 dot column2, and here I'm gonna write width 90%, width 90%, okay. After this, I'm gonna write the class color box that we just wrote in our index file. Color box is gonna be position absolute, and right, it's gonna be 0, and it's gonna top is gonna be 0 too, because we don't need a space. And now I'm just gonna copy this background linear gradient. I'm just gonna paste it here so we don't have to write it again. And my color is gonna be same. I'm not gonna add too much. So this color is gonna be FF. I'm just gonna erase this 57. FF575A. And the first color is gonna be FF469F. Yes, that's the one. So in that, we're gonna run, and as you can see, we have this big image right here. So now we're gonna go to our editor, and we're gonna go to our styles. Now we're gonna, after this background linear gradient, we're gonna add border radius, and in this border radius, I'm gonna be 20 pixels, and then 0, 0, and 20 pixels. Okay, now what we're gonna do, after this border radius, we're gonna add the height. So the height's gonna be 100%. And after that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna change the width to 80%. And I'm just gonna add the Z index because we're gonna really need it, and that's gonna be -1 for the background. And we're gonna transform. We're gonna add an animation. That's why we just gave the seconds here. Okay, now we're gonna transform, and we're gonna write translate X. Yes, and we're gonna write, and then we're gonna write 150 pixels. And then after this, now we're gonna check how it looks. Okay, as you guys can see, so it's this big, and this thing is like this. So now we're gonna check the image and why it's so big. We're gonna make it small now. We're gonna go to our style sheet. And in the style sheet we got B image, and the width, it's gonna be 12 pixels. So first, let's check if it's working or not. Just gonna make this small so you guys can see the whole text. So our problem, it's not gonna be small, and I don't know why. So let's check again why it's not getting small. So let's go to our style sheet, and okay. So now let's check the color box. So the color box is good. we got translate and then index and then width, and then we got height and then border radius and top right and then position. In column 2 we got 90%. So let me just check why are we having that problem. Okay, so that's a really big problem. I don't know why it's coming. So let's review. So we're gonna go to column 2. Okay, so let's check. Oh, what is the problem? I think so. No, that's not the problem. So in column 2, okay, so that was the problem. That I think we didn't write that. Okay, so column 2C is bigger. It's gonna be this. Let's check it now. That's good. And I think it's wording good. And now after dot C, we're gonna write dot C. Before this, we're gonna write dot call to. I think we have wrote it or no. So I'm just gonna double check if I have written it. No. So I'm gonna write call to dot call. So instead of call 1, we're gonna write call 2, and then gonna give this. I'm gonna give enter here, and in here we're gonna write position, relative, and flex basis. And that's gonna be 60%. And after that, we're gonna write display flex, align item center. And now let's check if it's big or not. Okay, now it's the size that we wanted. So as you can see, it's really pretty and it's really cool. We got our hover, and then so now the last thing it's left, we have to make that arrow PNG big. And then we're gonna move on to our next. So I'm gonna go here and we're gonna go our style sheet and then B image. So we gotta find B image. Okay, so I'm gonna just make it big, like 40. 40 might be good. Okay, it's having a problem. Let's check what's the problem. So we're gonna go here and in the B, we have one image. And we're having a problem. Okay, let's just leave it. We'll just remove display none. Now let's see what happens. Okay, so that was right, and we don't have to remove this. Control C. Okay, let's move on. So the first thing, we're gonna go to our index file and move on to next things. So after our color box, we're gonna add a new thing, a div, and we're gonna name the class add button, add btn. That's gonna be our add button, and in that add button, I'm gonna add an image, this, and then that's gonna be add.png. So with arrow, we're gonna add that png, and then alt add, and we're not gonna give it a class because we're just gonna target it. And then here I'm gonna write p. We're gonna use the p tag, and I'm just gonna insert a small tag because it might look pretty for the small tag. And then we're gonna write add to cart. Okay. After this, what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to our style sheet and give it some styles. So let's double check something. I think something's going up. Yep. IMG, have to write here because I think. Okay, so we're not gonna write this div, display block. And now if we run it, we'll have it shows. So we have a big icon and add to cart. So let's check this. Yeah, look, now it's coming great. Now if we hover on this, look at the arrow, it's really cool and pretty. So now let's go to our style sheet and give some styles to our add a button. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna write dot add add btn.img. So we're gonna target our image first, and then we're gonna write width 35 pixels. So we're gonna set the 5, and then margin bottom. So we're gonna give it a try to change the text and make it far from the button. So it's gonna be 5 pixels, not that much big. After that, we're gonna write add button. So I think we can write it before it, because let's check if you're recording. Yep, got the recording. Double check. Yes, got it. Now after this, we're gonna write add button dot add button. So I forgot to write it before this. So I'm gonna write text align. So text align center and color. This is gonna be #FF. And then here we're gonna write, we might write P. I'm not sure if we're gonna write P or no. So let me just double check. Yes. So that is the problem that we are trying to figure out. So we're gonna write add button, and then here we're gonna write add btn p. So we're talking our p tag, not our, because we use text line for text, not for. And then we're gonna do the last thing we're gonna do is cursor pointer, and same for the image. We're gonna do cursor pointer because it looks cool on you. Okay, now let's check it. And then we're gonna, okay, now as you can see, it's cool. And if you take our mouse, it turns to the cursor. Even if the go to the text, and we have a border, we have a nav tag, and we have our image. So now we're gonna move to our next part, to the part that we're not gonna use any content anymore. So it's gonna be more text after this, because that's gonna be fun. So after this, 1, 2, 3, and after this, we're gonna add an image we're gonna add a div, and we're gonna name the class. The class is gonna be new fall colors. Just gonna do big new fall colors. Okay, so we've got color. Okay, now we're gonna open a notepad and copy some text. Oh, we're not gonna copy the text. We're gonna write. I'm sorry, we're not gonna write this here. We're gonna write text because it's gonna be the simple text. You're gonna give it a bit style, and then here we're gonna write an h1 tag, and in this we're gonna write this. So I just got some confusion. And here we're gonna write a h2 tag, and we're gonna copy our text, unleash one, yes. And we're gonna paste it right into here. Okay, good. So now we're gonna add some BR tags here. Yep. Because we want it to go to the next line. So BR. Okay, now we don't need any more BR tags. So now let's move on. So we are done this, and if we run it, as you can see, we have this. We're gonna change the styling after. So now we're gonna do some styling, and I'm gonna show you the website for a bit long time. So after this div, we're gonna add another div. Sorry, I wrote D div, and I'm gonna call it the set1. So the image set1. Set1. And in the set1, I'm gonna add lots of images. I'm gonna add 3 images for the set1, and then we're gonna write the set2 one, and then gonna be 6 images. 3. In here we're gonna write src PlayStation, and then here we're gonna write play dot. Okay, now we're gonna write the source. So the first gonna be play. Right, play1.png. So we got play1.png, And we're gonna write, we're not gonna add all because it's gonna be too long for the second ones too. I'm just gonna paste it here 3 times. I'm just gonna erase this, play 2.jff, and then play 3.jff. Okay, now we're gonna copy this one time, this whole div, and I'm gonna paste the div here. And instead of set1, we're gonna write set2, and we're gonna change this source. So we're gonna write play 34.jff, and then play 5, play 6. Okay, now that we're done, we're gonna add one more set, and that's gonna be our last set of our images, because we want a lot of images. We don't need like 4, 5, 6. We need like whole sets. So after this, we're gonna add 6, 7, play 7, play. So we're just gonna open this and double check why it's not working. So play 7, 5, 6. Okay, so we've got 8. We don't have 7. I'm gonna play 8.jff and then play 9. Hopefully we don't have, I think we don't have 9 too. So we're gonna fix 8 and then we have 10. I forgot to, and then 10. Yep, we have 10, and then right here we can insert play 11.png. Okay, now what we're gonna do after this div, we're gonna add one image, and then after that we're gonna do the styling. Div. No, I'm sorry. We're not gonna write div. We're gonna write button. Button. Just gonna erase this if I wrote accidentally, and class is gonna be butto button. I'm not gonna write the whole button. It's gonna be class, and my type will gonna be button. And I'm just gonna go here and I'm gonna copy this by now and paste this text here. Okay, after this I'm gonna add one more image, and I'm gonna give it a source, PlayStation this, and that's gonna be arrow.png because we're gonna do the same thing for that. Arrow.png, because the thing we did with, let me show you guys, with this button, yeah. We added arrow.png for this button. Let me show you this one. So we're gonna do for. So let me reload it, and as you can see, we have some images without styles. So let's start the styling. So we're gonna go to our editor, and we're gonna go to our style sheet. And after this, what we're gonna do is we got some errors. I don't know why. Okay. So now let's our first div was text, right? Yes, we got text. So now we're gonna write .text, and in this we're gonna write margin top, and we're gonna write 90 pixels. And here we're gonna write margin bottom, and we're gonna write 80 pixels. Okay, now after the text, I'm just gonna copy this text one more time. I'm gonna target H1. Here we're gonna write font size. Font size here, and it's gonna be 40 pixels. And text align center, And I'm just gonna do this thing a bit fast. Wait, 100. So you can get out on me font family, and that is gonna be Calibri Light. That's gonna be our font. We're gonna color. That's gonna be RGBA, and that's gonna be a bit hard. 0.0 and 0, and then at the end we're gonna write 0.7. So after this color, so that's a kind of grayish. Margin bottom, gonna 20 pixels. Okay. So now we have targeted the HT1, H1. Now we're just gonna copy this. Actually, I'm just gonna copy this whole thingy. I'm gonna paste it here. I'm just gonna change this to H2, and then I'm gonna erase this font size. I guess yes. I'm gonna erase this font size. Text align center, and then font weight 100, and I'm just gonna change it right 64.64, and the margin bottom 20 pixels. Now we're gonna go to our sets. So that our first set was set 1 dot set 1 width 320 pixels, margin left, long time been coding, margin left gonna be 24 pixels, and we're just gonna copy this, and we're gonna go to our new line, and but after this we're gonna write img. I forgot this, and I'm gonna set 2 and img image 320 and 24, and then again I'm gonna copy this. It's gonna be for set 3. Set 3, and that's gonna be safe. Now we're gonna move to our button. So I'm gonna go up and just copy that because you don't have time to write the whole thingy again. Just gonna change the name. Control C. We got a here, and we're gonna write that here. The button. Okay, now that we have done this, we're gonna add the hover image and button. Just gonna copy this. I'm gonna write it here. Button hover image. So I'm just gonna write hover here, and then I'm gonna write this. I'm just gonna go up and then copy these things so that I don't have to write it. Paste this, and I'm just gonna change the name. And we've got here. Okay, now we're done this. So now let's see if we have anything left. Okay, now we're done, and let's check what happened. So we've got this beautiful text with our font weight, and we've got this beautiful PlayStation images and our text. We don't have the arrow.png, and that's gonna be a problem. So I'm gonna play my PHP storm. Maybe I'm gonna go to style sheet, and I'm just gonna change for the button because it's displaying in the center. So justify icon is this align item center 160 px display block. Display hover image is our hover images here, and that's gonna be display block, and display we forgot something, I think. Yep. Dot button img dot, and we're gonna write width 30 pixels, and then display none. Now if we run it, I'm still not having that arrow, and the reason. Let's check the image if we have any problem here. Arrow.png. Just gonna give it alt attribute, alt arrow. Now we're gonna go up and let's see where's our arrow.png, so we can check if it's the same. Okay, now let's review our styles here. Justify kind of space between a line item center. So I think we're done till here. Here we have 30 pixels and this. Now let's go to our button. Width 140 px. Okay, I think we got the wrong thing. We're gonna write the whole styles. Oh, really? Okay, so we're gonna just give some more styles to this. So we're gonna write margin left. And margin left gonna be 459 pixels. I'm not using this reflex, it's gonna be easier, so I want you guys to figure out what's happening here. And then we have width this, and border this, padding this, outline none. We've got our color, and then our background, border radius, cursor pointer, and transition this, and the last thing is margin bottom. That was what was missing, margin bottom. So right here, we're gonna write 130 pixels. Okay, now if we check it, let's see. Okay, we got in the center. And again, the image is not coming, and that is gonna be a problem. Okay, let's just move on. And then we're gonna fix it at the end. So let's move on. Okay, now let's go to our index file, and we're gonna add some more styles after this thing. So here we're gonna write this div, left div here, and then after this div, we're gonna add another div called, and the class name will be text2. So we're gonna write the text2. Enter, and in this I'm gonna write some text. That's gonna be a bit more text. So I'm gonna write a h2 h3 tag, and the last thing I'm gonna write, I'm just gonna add a image, and I'm gonna add the source. My source is gonna be PlayStation.im, and then it's gonna be fort.png. And after this, I'm just gonna add one br tag. Okay, now let's copy our text. So we're gonna write Fortnite Warsaw in our h1. Just gonna copy this. Control C. Let's go to our h1. Okay, so we'll have a small break here, and then we will continue again. Okay, now we're gonna write our h1 tag here, and in this h1 tag I'm gonna add my image, and after this I'm gonna add a br tag, and I'm just gonna copy the br tag, but we're gonna need it multiple times. Paste, and then after this h1 tag I'm gonna add a br tag again. Now in this h3 tag I'm gonna go here and the bundle, so till 2020. So we're gonna copy this from here to here. Control C. I'm gonna minimize this. And h3 tag, we wrote this. Okay. Now we're gonna use the br tag lot here. So I'm just gonna copy this br tag multiple times here. Again, Control V. After this dot, we're gonna use the br tag. And then br tag, again br tag. just gonna write it multiple times because we're gonna have to give a new. We're gonna insert a new line after this. Okay, now it's done. Now let's run and see what happens. So as you can see, we've got this image. I don't know why that image is not showing. So we've got our image, and let's check why isn't it showing. So we're gonna import that PNG. So that's working. I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, I think PlayStation. So it's gonna one folder back on PlayStation. Okay, so that was a problem. We're gonna have to write a thing, and then that's gonna be 4.png, and same for that was the error that was coming because we did not add this. Okay, now we're gonna run this, and I hope the image comes. Oh, yep, we got this little image. And here we having the image too because I just erased that thingy. Here we're not having, I don't know why, and this is going down, and that is our error. So let's go to our index style sheet to style this stuff. Okay, so first let's see which. So that was .text2. As you guys, I think everyone remembers text2. That we use too much BR tags there. And now in this H2, I'm gonna write display flex. Display, that's gonna be flex. I'm just gonna copy this text2 and I'm gonna enter, and I'm gonna write here. I'm gonna write H1 here. Now I'm gonna go up and just copy this because I really need this thingy here down. So right here I'm gonna paste this, and that's the fill line. So we're gonna need this one, not the bottom one, the H2 tag, because we need the font size. Control V. 40 pixel text line center, we don't need that. That's gonna cure error for us. And then font family this, and then color, and then at the end we have to write display flex. Okay, now we're just gonna copy this one more time. Into H1 we're gonna write H3, and this H3 I'm gonna write and display flex, and we're gonna use a new attribute that is displayed in CSS3. So I'm gonna write width, and that's gonna be 600 pixels. After this width, I'm gonna write border style, and that's gonna be none. Vertical align, so that's the new thing. We haven't used it till now. Vertical align, and that's gonna be middle. And just gonna check if we really need a class for our button. So we're gonna go here. I hope I added. No, I didn't add it. So first let's check what happened to our text. So our text looks like this, and that is error. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna erase one thing from here. Across this, I'm gonna go to styles, and then in this, I'm gonna erase this display flex because I'm showing it as a flex thingy. Okay, I'm gonna go here. We're still having the error. Run. Okay, yep, we got it right. This. We're still having this thingy down. So now we're gonna check the image if it's gonna go small or no. Okay, so I got the error and I got it why that was happening. So I'm gonna keep these display flex, and I'm just gonna, instead of this H1, I wrote H1 and then text2 H3, it's not gonna be this. So first, let me copy this thingy. And then instead of this H3, I'm gonna write in my image. And in my image, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy this because I wrote it wrong here. And then here, I'm just gonna copy this thingy and I'm gonna write it right down here to H3. So font size, I'm not gonna write it out. Font size. Font weight's gonna be 100, this is gonna be color, and then margin bottom, and then display flex. So now if we check it, it will look a bit cool. Yep, we've got it now. And we've got our image small and nice and cool. So now let's go to our index file and we're gonna add a button, I think so, yep. We'll need a button. So here I need this BR tag after this div. After this I'm gonna add a button. And I'm gonna give a class called btn1. Just gonna write this BR tag after this, and I'm gonna go to my text and buy now. So I'm gonna be adding two buttons, sorry. Gonna copy this again and Control V, and that's gonna be button 2. I'm going to my text and learn more. I'm gonna paste it right here. Okay, now that we've got this, we can add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're gonna add 5 BR tag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now we're gonna go right here to our style sheet and we're gonna give some style to our buttons. So we're gonna write btn1 dot btn1. Write this. I'm just gonna write like this so you guys can see it. I'm gonna write margin right. I'm gonna write 20 pixels. And font size is gonna be 17 pixels. 17 pixels, and background color is gonna be hash E, I love it, 23, I think 23 232. Yep, it's that color that I needed. And then I'm gonna add the width. My width's gonna be 120 pixels. Border 0. And after this border, I'm gonna write padding. And my padding is gonna be 8 pixels. Outline, none. Color, hash, FFFF, this. Cursor, pointer. Then I'm gonna add the same thing for btn2, the learn more button, if you guys remember. Let's double check. The font size is gonna be 17. Margin, we're gonna remove the margin because we do not need the margin now. Background, just gonna change the background now. Hash, that's gonna be hash 429 2BF. After this, we have our width 120, border 0, padding 8, outline none. And then we have our color white and then cursor pointer. Now let's check how that looks. So as you can see, we've got this. And we're having a problem because btn1. Okay, so got this btn2. I'm gonna reload it, and as you can see, we got buy now this and learn more of this. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go to our index file. I'm gonna close this.